He had a big problem because it was not only that he served under the empire that those people did not want, but tax collection was also open to abuse. It was the avenue for corruption. And the tax collectors were very, very rich. In fact, of all the disciples of Christ, the richest, the one that was called, this fifth one, was the richest. Very rich. He was very rich. The other ones were very poor. Those were fishermen that were called from the sea. Very poor. But this is a very rich person. Rich, but had big problems. Now listen. I'm giving you background. Matthew did not have peace, did not even enjoy his wealth, because no one wanted him in the community. No one. He comes across somebody and then they don't even greet him. They could not even go to his home. His home was a no-go zone place. Nobody wanted even to greet him. So he did not have peace with his own people. That was a big problem. Levi did not have peace with God because he was a thief, stealing. He didn't have peace with God. Matthew or Levi had no peace within himself. No peace with God, no peace with the community, no peace within himself. The man was shattered. The man was a moving corpse. The man was in bondage. It was like sometimes back, there was people were voting, general election, the other time. The area was ODM area. That was someplace in my place there. Completely ODM area. And then there was a lady who was a Jubilee sympathizer. On the voting day, this lady was heard whispering to other people where to cast their votes. These people just came, the lady was held, they tore all the clothes. The lady was left there without clothes. That is the kind of hostility that meets people who join a rank that the other people don't want. It is as if you go to an area where we have Jubilee and then you go there as ODM. You see, okay, you heard they were saying that even this man told you here is an ODM sympathizer. Yeah? You hear those things. What happened to Matthew is the same thing that is happening today. You are a sympathizer of Pastor Uma and the people are going to vote, and you go where it is Pastor Billy that they are singing his song. You are in trouble. I've given you that so that you can understand what Matthew was going through. He is there serving a party that nobody wants to hear of. That is the problem this man has. Then, this man here, as he was there, thinking of what to do, Jesus comes. And when Jesus comes, Jesus makes a call. If you were to write the topic I'm handling, for those who are here, the first day, it was train yourself for godliness. The other day, train yourself to walk on water. Water walkers. Today, with Matthew, train yourself for discipleship. And let me give you let me go back and tell you, train yourself. That is first Timothy 4 verse 7 that we started with. And we said that the word train, the word train that is used there, that in Greek is called gumnos, was to train naked. Those who were athletes were to train naked. They were to sweat in order to be victors. Christianity is not just bread and butter. If you thought Christianity is bread and butter, go and ask the apostles. Go and ask the prophets. It is sweat. It is sweat. It is sweat. So, that is where we get the word gymnasium. To exercise. To train for godliness. Gymnastize for discipleship. This is what we are handling now. Now, Matthew gets a call. Jesus says, Matthew, he was Levi by then, says, follow me. And then the Bible says that the youth read verse 28, and they said that Levi got up and he left everything. Train yourself for discipleship. To Levi, that call of Jesus was a call of destiny. When Jesus calls somebody who does not have peace within himself, somebody who does not have peace with his fellow men, somebody who does not have peace with God, it was at that time. You remember our second lesson, that when Peter is called, Peter stands to join Jesus on the water, and then Peter sees the wind. That was terrible. When he saw the wind, that was terrible. He was dying. In fact, for all this time, Levi had been seeing everything he was seeing was all wind. It was wind from east to west. He lived a very stormy life. And it was at the time that Peter was sinking that the hand of Christ was stretched. That hand was a hand of destiny. It was at the time when Levi was dying in his riches and in his profession that the call came. Levi, follow me. The call came at the time that the man was dying. And when that call came, Levi did not waste any time. He did not waste any time. He left the boat. When Peter left the boat, 11 disciples were very safe in the boat. And we said your boat can be something that gives you comfort. Something that you have trust in more than God. That can be a good boat. To Levi, the tax collection, that work was his boat. When the call came, he had to leave the boat. He left it. He left it. He left it. And as a sign of his leaving everything, leaving the boat, I don't know whether it was the ladies or the men that read verse 29. Those who read verse 29, everybody be ready for verse 29. Everybody now, verse 29 is a verse of destiny. We want everybody, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you there? Or 3, go. Now, a call of destiny. When Levi was called, the way we have been called, yes, God calls us in different ways. When Levi was called, to him it was an open door that we read in Revelation 3, verse 8. That call was a call to the open door. The call of Jesus is a call that hands over to us. Now, get this. That call hands over to the one that is called a key to the open door, to the door. So that call is a key that God places in your hand so that you can enter that door when you want. You can go out of that door when you want. The call of Christ is a key that opens the doors of heaven. When he had that call and he said, this is a key, this is what he did. Now, I want you now to follow me very keenly in this verse 29. Levi did something that many people, even other disciples, had not done. In fact, no other disciple did what Matthew did. Now, the first thing, he left the boat, and it was not only leaving the boat. When Peter left the boat, he had to walk on the waters. You don't just leave the boat and stand there. You leave the boat and walk. Matthew, when he left the boat, he started to walk. How? This is what he did. He threw a party. A big one. A banquet. A big one. We are going to see the people who are called there. He threw a party. Now, listen to this. You know, Matthew or Levi was a tax collector. This is somebody who was used to taking. A person who had the get syndrome. Give me, give me. He was the one that was to be given, and then he pockets it. There was nowhere that he could also give to people. It is him that was receiving. But now when he got the call, he did something different as an indication of the new life or the new light that he had received. He said, okay, people have been giving me. I also want this hand that was used only to taking. The hand that was used to taking. Now this hand could go to the pocket and also give out. The feast that was organized here was a sign of a new life in Levi. He could now also give. That is a sign of those people who have been called. When Jesus calls us, we don't only hoard. We don't only keep for ourselves. We also learn to give. If you find a church that is dying because there are no resources, that is a church full of the Levites. When the Levites become Matthew, they learn to give. They learn to give. If you find where people are so mean, they only want. Those are the people who have not heeded the call. They have never heeded the call. So, this hand that used to grab, now, this hand can now give freely. We have many Levites in this world, including this church, grabbers. People who only take. The Dead Seas, they are everywhere. The Levites are planted, Satan has planted them everywhere. People who only take, they don't give. They only take. They don't give. But when they get the key, the call, they will learn to give. That feast was a very expensive one. Don't think it was a small one. It was a very expensive one. He used his money. Many times, some of the feasts that we have, be it birthday, whatever, some of these